Well, greetings, welcome. This is another Star Space Chat, our usually semi-weekly, but as we roll into the holidays, a little bit more sparse sit down where we get some info on entrepreneurial movers and shakers here in Oklahoma, those that either are entrepreneurs themselves or those that help people to become entrepreneurs. And that's sort of the interview this week. As normal, I am your host, Jeff Yenzer, board secretary here at Starspace 46, which is a local co-working space positioned right at the corner, if you ever want to visit, of Sheridan and Klein. And that's in downtown Oklahoma City. And we have been in operation, since 2016. So we are going out of year 5. Please, if you could, slam that like button, share with the people that either you love, or maybe if you don't like me, you hate them. Drop a comment and possibly hit the little bell on the side so that you can be informed when new episodes do arise. It really helps get that word out. And, as we all come out of a pandemic and look for either a community to be a part of or possibly a hybrid workspace to be able to take advantage of, feel free to always throw us out there. And we're happy to help anyone in this community as well as all around the Sooner State. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest. Our guest is Brent Kisling, the Executive Director of the OK Department of Commerce. So if there was ever somebody that helps these entrepreneurial movers and shakers here, it might be this gentleman right here. So if I may enter into the fray, Brent, come on in, man.
Howdy. Good to see you,
man. I like that you matched hairstyles.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's now a requirement. So I think that this is a good requirement.
I think you should do that going forward. I even put a fresh coat of wax on just for you today.
Oh, see, I did the same thing for you. Look at us, just taking care of each other. Oh, man. Good. It's no longer, scratching backs. It's shining heads. I don't know. I'm not here to make the rules, man. How are you doing today?
I've never been better. It's a wonderful day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I see you've got your OU orange on, so you have check marked a few things.
We are in the middle of football season right now, and as of the recording today, it's a really good football season.
Wonderful. Well, I can only hope that it continues for you.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, born and bred?
I was born in a small town of Burlington, Oklahoma. You ever heard of Burlington?
I'm pretty sure I have. I was actually adopted into a family in Custer City, so same sort of small town. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, northwest Oklahoma, about 5 miles from the Kansas line. Grew up on a farm up there, and my folks, my dad had a great sense of humor. Always told us that we only had to work half days from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. growing up, and absolutely loved that lifestyle. It was wonderful. Yes, lived here my entire life.
Wonderful. I remember that as well. My grandfather was a farmer and rancher. So same sort of thing. Just like, sun up to sundown. And you start appreciating daylight savings time for some weird reason. Because
rainy days. You like rainy days because you didn't have to drive a tractor.
Right. Absolutely. Now snow and frost and ice, that just means you got to get out there and actually bash through some things. And that was never my jam.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
so, all right. So coming up, in way up north, what kind of brought you to, where you are today from, near Kansas to deep in the heart of OK?
Well, I actually worked for Senator Inhofe whenever I graduated from Oklahoma State and thought I would just do that for a couple of years and then go get a master's in business administration somewhere. I decided I was learning more from the senator than I ever would have learned anywhere else and stuck with him for about 6 years doing a lot of his agricultural policy work as well as rural economic development. And then whenever George W. Bush got elected, I took an appointment with his administration to work at the United States Department of Agriculture, specifically with rural development here within the state. And that's when I really got the bug and enjoyed working with businesses to help them grow. And actually in the late 90s, my wife and I started our first business together. We started a bed and breakfast in Enid, Oklahoma, in downtown Enid. Started with one house and one room and grew it to the largest bed and breakfast in the state. We did our exit about 7 or 8 years ago, and loved that time of my life. And it has really helped me moving into the Department of Commerce because one of our jobs is to work with entrepreneurs, just like you are every day. And really appreciate what you do. We just need more of it here in the state, and hopefully we can inspire more folks and equip more folks to start their own businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. I always try to tell people Oklahoma is one of the easiest states to start a business in the entire nation. So if you can't make it here, I don't know if you can make it anywhere. So maybe start here and then build someplace else, or maybe, just maybe, start here and build here, which sounds crazy, I'm sure. But yeah, it's something that we really aspire to do and try to grow people, even when they're in college and high school, getting them to understand the value of being able to start your own business once you've got your experience.
Yeah, and something that we've, of course, I've been at the Department of Commerce now for about 2.5 years. I came in with Governor Kevin Stitt, who is an entrepreneur himself.
Right.
And so he has really promoted the formation of more businesses here. And really in the last 18 months, coming through COVID and out of COVID, we've seen more businesses start here in Oklahoma than we have any 18-month period, probably in the state's history.
Right.
A lot of people have started businesses. So facilities like yours are very important for us right now.
We try. We really try. Well, let's talk about facilities like yours. Tell me a little bit about the Department of Commerce, from the top down.
Sure. Well, what we're probably best known for is recruiting businesses to come to the state. Anytime, we had Carvana just come to the state, and a new electric vehicle manufacturer, Canoe, just announced that they're moving here. And so we get a lot of attention for these huge, big companies that move to the state, and we provide a concierge service for them to, first of all, we're selling them on the idea of investing here, and then we help them through the process of becoming profitable here. So that's what people know us most for. But really, the thing we spend our most time on is working with existing businesses. We would love to see our existing businesses grow. We try to take very good care of them while they're here, and again, help them to try to be profitable. We have that one thing that came through COVID here over the last year is trying to shorten the supply chain. And so people were having trouble getting one little widget out of China or even out of Atlanta or something to finish out final assembly on something. So we created a software platform called Connects Oklahoma. And you can, as a manufacturer, you can get on there and see what products are made here in the state and whether somebody has capacity to make a product for you in order to finish out your final assembly. We've got over 500 manufacturers on that today. So little things like that are how we take care of our own. And then we also have a world-class research division. In fact, we have the only economic research division in all of state government. And so whenever, if you see like Department of Transportation is running a new road somewhere, a new street, and they need to do an economic impact study, Department of Commerce is normally who they contract with. Attorney General's office, we work with them quite a bit whenever economic impacts are to be done. So we do that. And then we also, we have a community development division. So we're passing through tens of millions of dollars a year that goes to communities across the state to help them prepare for growth, putting in infrastructure and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the last part that we're involved with is workforce development. Our state also receives tens of millions of dollars out of Washington every year for workforce development, and many of those dollars pass through Commerce, and we try to make sure we're connecting businesses with the people who are looking for jobs.
And that's always so important, especially coming out of this pandemic, to really remove a lot of the stereotypes and these ideas that people don't want to work. People want to work left and right. It's just getting them into the right places so that they can thrive.
Oh yeah, well, and even today, we're sitting at 3% unemployment rate. So if you're watching this way into the future, maybe things have changed, but today it's 3%. That's seventh in the nation coming out of the pandemic. We've been top 10 in unemployment rate for the last 4 or 5 months now. And what that tells me, again, this goes back to taking care of your own, is that our businesses in Oklahoma are doing a better job than 43 other states at keeping our citizens employed. That's huge. They must feel like that they can invest in people, that they can bring them on board. It means that they're part of a supply chain that's actually still operating and operating at a high level. So that's very exciting for us. But the other thing that we keep a pretty close eye on, and this may be interesting to some of your viewers as well, is you have unemployment rate, which is the percentage of people that are looking for a job that have found one. So 97% of the people who are looking for a job are able to find one in Oklahoma. But we also track something called labor force participation rate, which is the total percentage of people over the age of 16 that are employed. And we don't rank as well there. We're about 34th in the nation in labor force participation rate at about 61%. 61% of our folks over the age of 16 are employed, and we have some headwinds on that I think we can overcome. But yeah, we're constantly working in that workforce space, trying to connect people.
Yeah, and I think that's it's an important number to know, because it's one that people don't talk about in the media or in the news. Mm-hmm. It's not one that's focused upon, but it's one that's so important, and it's making sure that when you might look at that and say that's 39% of inactivity, but that's 39% as a business owner of opportunity.
Yeah, and if we were at the national average on labor force participation rate, that'd be another 36,111 people in the workforce.
Right.
That would be huge for our restaurants right now, and our hotels who are trying to hire, and manufacturers that are trying to hire. And some of the headwinds we have there is we have a higher percentage of folks that are retired in Oklahoma than other states. We have a higher percentage that are ill or disabled than other states. Mm-hmm. And we have a higher percentage of one income households. Somebody has responsibilities at home, whether it be taking care of a loved one or children or something like that. And so trying to find opportunities for those are important. But the other thing we're doing that a lot of people aren't talking about in Oklahoma right now is we're recruiting people too. We are trying to bring in folks from other states. Of course, the rats are jumping off the ship in California right now. So we have a presence all over that state. We have a website called ca2ok.com, which is a specific landing site where you can go in there. If you live in LA, you can compare the price of your 900 square foot flat versus a 5,000 square foot house with 5 acres in Oklahoma, and utilities. We have the same thing in Chicago right now. We're about to release a strategy in Colorado because they have such a high cost of living up there. And so we're trying to bring in those workers. We really are.
Right. It's so odd that we are coming full circle in a century from, the Grapes of Wrath, where everyone left, to now coming back.
Yep, and that's part of it. There's a lot of folks in California that still have family here, that have a family presence here, and so it's a fairly easy sell. And we used our research division to find out what types of people, what types of businesses, more importantly, make sense here versus California. I mean, if you are a oil and gas company headquartered in California, you are a fish out of water. Why in the world would you be there and not in Oklahoma? If you make parts that are going on a B-52 or a KC-135 or some military aircraft, you should be in Oklahoma, and you should be close to Tinker Air Force Base. So those are the types of folks that we've been targeting.
Right. And if you're paying to ship your things even by land out of California, why are you shipping across the country and not centrally located? Like, it seems like a no-brainer, but hey, I completely get it. Right. This entire world is a beautiful flowing stream, a babbling brook with pure, beautiful water that would be so wonderful to drink, with horses that have died of starvation littering the side of it.
Well, and the thing that we have learned, or I've learned at Commerce after marketing the entire state, is that if we can just bring people here, if they can just come to the state, then we sell them on it. I tell the story all the time about last year Tesla was looking at coming to Oklahoma.
Right.
And it was a very public, visible campaign, and Elon Musk actually came to the state, came to Tulsa. We rented some Teslas for him to drive around, and we had a meeting for about an hour or so, and he spent another 2 hours driving around the state, that northeast region, just looking things over. And I'm convinced that he was convinced whenever he left here. He basically told us that he had no idea what the state was like, but he wanted his C-suite folks in San Francisco that he was going to be moving here to learn more about us. And so we were going to fly a big plane out, fly them all back here. And that was during a time when Zoom was probably more preferable for them. And so they did a Zoom call, and you could just see, that's the bad thing about Zoom. You can see the expression on their faces.
Yeah.
They weren't sold on Oklahoma. And I guarantee you, if we'd been able to bring them here, walk them around, introduce them to folks like you, I'm sure they would have come here.
It's, hey, if you like traffic, feel free to move to, Houston, Austin,
That's right.
Dallas. It looks the same. It looks the exact same, ecologically as those cities, but with much less traffic and honestly more opportunities, just because you don't have so much competition. You can really hone in on what you do well instead of trying to just do better than everybody else. And I think that
well, some things that I think we're doing well right now that maybe some of your clients for sure would be interested in. We've always been known as an oil and gas state, an agricultural state, but there are a lot of new businesses coming in besides aerospace. Aerospace is now our second largest employer, mainly because of Tinker Air Force Base and the American Airlines base over in Tulsa. But we're also seeing huge increases in automotive manufacturing and parts manufacturing. A lot of that's because the workforce is the same. In fact, a lot of the companies are the same. People who make parts for airplanes also make them for cars. Right. And that industry started in Detroit and the Great Lakes area and moved down to the Atlanta area, southeastern United States, and now it's migrating our way. So automotive is huge. Another one just down the street from you is the film industry.
I was there last week. Prairie Surf is beautiful.
Yes, Prairie Surf is amazing, and Matt and Rachel are doing a fantastic job there. But think about this. Last year, we were the only state that remained open the entire time for the filming of movies. And we had 37 films that shot in Oklahoma last year. And that got us a lot of attention. And we basically go from maybe one production studio to now having 6 in the state. I know of another 10 that are being thought of right now, just across the state. So that's a big one for us. And then the other big one is just value-added agriculture in general. Food processing would probably be the best way to say it, because we rank the top 5 in beef production and cattle and hogs, chickens, wheat, but we take a lot of those and send elsewhere to have value added to them. So that supply chain shortening also, which has been big for Oklahoma.
Exactly. And, just making it more accessible to everyone all across the nation. So I completely get it.
Yep, I'm all about food.
Yeah. It was very neat to see. I had friends that were working within the film industry on the production side and the crew side during the pandemic, and how what we as Oklahomans just kind of took for granted for our just top-notch medical staff.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to bring them into the film industry and then not have any outbreaks, not have any, just no deaths based in, just a level of irresponsibility that I think had other production studios been open and just trying to do it, we would have had those sorts of things. But Oklahoma really doubled down and made sure that things were done right and could stay open. So it's being responsible, but while still being productive.
Yeah, well, and we could get the testing done and get it done quickly. They did some partnerships with some of the labs around the state.
Yep.
And Oklahoma is unique in the fact that you could locate at Prairie Surf or some of our other production studios here within the state, but for sure in the Oklahoma City metro area, you can have the largest production studio in North America at Prairie Surf, and within an hour you can drive out and shoot in a wheat field. You could be in a forested area. You could be in a semi-arid area. You could be in a historic downtown. We have all of those venues here. That's what shocked Hollywood is how diverse the state really is.
Oh yeah, geologically, you can drive an hour and a half and be in a swamp. Rolling hills, what looks to be a forest, and the foothills of mountains. And then, you could be, up in the panhandle, and it might as well look like an Asian desert. You can make anything look the way that you need to. And I think that to that point, it's an amazing opportunity that Oklahoma, all the things that it just already was, finally gets to get the recognition and notoriety that I think it's deserved.
Yep. Nope. I completely agree. It's a great industry, and I think it's one that's going to continue to grow exponentially over the next couple of years for us.
Yep, I think it will do wonderful things, especially for our for not only our major metropolitan areas, but our rural areas as well. When you have that sort of money coming in and helping small businesses and the diners and the bed and breakfasts that exist in those places, being able to utilize those, it's amazing.
Yeah, our legislature really stepped up. We used to have about an $8 million a year incentive program for film and music, and this year they bumped that up to 30 million. So it's very, very significant.
Right. Well, I always ask every guest that I have, how can the Starspace 46 community help your endeavors moving forward? What are some ways?
Mm-hmm. Well, the big thing is what you do on entrepreneurship and helping those early growth companies. That is, even though we talked today about agriculture and energy and all these other new exciting industries that are coming to the state and getting more diversified, at our core in Oklahoma, we are entrepreneurial. And most of our major employers here within the state started in a garage, started in a barn back behind the house. And historically, we've just let that entrepreneurship happen. We didn't stand in the way. We tried not to stand in the way, but we kind of let it happen.
Yeah.
With facilities like Starship 46 and others that are around the state, now we're aggressively pushing that industry forward and making sure that everybody has the tools that they need in order to truly start a company and to grow a company. And our job at the Department of Commerce is to be more aggressive. Also, we've our involvement in entrepreneurship is to engage with our entrepreneurship assistance programs, the service-based side, but then also with the investment community and trying to marry those two together better than what we have in the past. And so really what you could do for our state and for us, the Department of Commerce, is keep doing what you're doing and help us to engage with that entrepreneurship community so that we can get the resources to them that they need.
There you go. All right, Starspace community, it's now up to you. You've got the blueprint. Now it's just making it happen. Well, Brent, it's been wonderful speaking with you and being able to talk to you about some of these things that are happening. Some people know about them, many people don't. And this sort of information is integral to be able to really push forward these entrepreneurial efforts in the state. And thank you for your time today. And we'll see you down the road, because I know that our paths are going to cross again. It's inevitable.
Amen. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the interview.
Absolutely. Have a great day. And thank you all for joining us for yet another Starspace chat. As normal, I mean, I can only thank the people that come in and give us the sort of insight and knowledge that maybe others don't have. If you could, please share this with your friends. And if you're interested in becoming a member here at Starspace 46, feel free to visit starspace46.com, set up a tour, see what we've got going on here. And maybe you make this your new office space or your new workspace. So we would love to have new people in and around the area. You can always book those meetings directly online. And we have free co-working days on Wednesdays if you just want to drop in and kind of see what the buzz is all about. So come in from 9 to 5 any of those days, and we would love to have you. You can also help support us if you aren't here in Oklahoma City by going to merch46.com. We have a few things there, coffee mugs and shirts and all sorts of different things that hopefully will either fuel or cover in the proper way your entrepreneurial efforts. Always thanks to Rodney with Camalti Strategies, who produces these episodes. I've been your host, Jeff Yenzer. Yenzer, if you know me, and that's Yenzer Consulting Services and Starspace 46, as I represent the board as secretary. See you next time, and until then, it's almost Turkey Day and all of the familial gatherings therein, so be safe, and wherever life takes you, enjoy your time there.